While football is an unpredictable sport, most goals follow a similar pattern: build, break, finish. Yet every so often, a physics-defying screamer comes out of nowhere and leaves football fans around the world in awe. We're counting down the 10 most unbelievable physics-defying goals ever scored. And trust me, each strike on this list is more insane than the last. Starting off at number 10, we've got to rewind the clock back to 1997, when Brazil faced off against France in the Tournoi de France. The four-team tournament was a warm-up for the following summer's Euro '98, hosted in the same country. But defender Roberto Carlos had no interest in holding back. Tied 0-0, Brazil was awarded a free kick from distance that would shock the world. As Roberto Carlos approached the ball, commentator Martin Tyler remarked,
"It's a 30-yard free kick with a 20-yard run-up."
The ball curled past the helpless French wall in a banana-like shape as it bent back in towards the goal and past the scurrying Fabien Barthez. Carlos circled off in celebration, but the world was left stunned at how he'd achieved such a strike. The banana curl of the ball made the Brazilian strike among the most unique and skillful techniques of all time. There must be something about international friendlies that makes the impossible achievable, because Zlatan Ibrahimovic hit an even better goal for Sweden against England in 2012. The enigmatic forward had already bagged a hat-trick against the Three Lions when goalkeeper Joe Hart and defender Ryan Shawcross made a meal out of clearing the ball. In any normal game, their blushes might have been spared. But on a cold November evening, Zlatan produced a strike that set the Friends Arena alight. With the ball looping over his head from 32.4 yards, the Swede produced an unthinkable bicycle kick that flew into the net without bouncing. Acrobatic strikes from inside the box make jaws drop, but an effort closer to the halfway line than the goal line takes disbelief to a whole new level. It's one thing to make crowds speechless in meaningless friendlies. Producing the unthinkable to make history in the world's biggest matches is a completely different task. And that's exactly what 8-time Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi did in 2011, as Barca faced Real Madrid in the Champions League for the first time since 2002. Guardiola's team was already considered among the greatest teams of all time, but Messi's crazy solo goal cemented their legacy. The semi-final was tied 0-0. Messi darted past Sergio Ramos, Marcelo, and Pepe and made the world's best defenders look like statues before finishing coolly past Casillas. Barca went on to win the semi against Real, then the final against Man United, becoming the greatest team of all time. A solo goal of comparable quality has never been scored against Madrid, nor has the Champions League witnessed a dribble that left world-class defenders as mesmerized. Barcelona forwards are no strangers to jaw-dropping solo goals. Just ask Ronaldo Nazario, who scored an even better goal against Compostela during the 96-97 La Liga season. The 19-year-old enjoyed a glistening start to his time at Camp Nou, producing 7 goal involvements in his opening 6 La Liga appearances. But it wasn't until his crazy solo goal against Compostela that fans really began to believe that a new GOAT had been born. The Brazilian picked the ball up from inside his own half, showing a combination of physics-defying balance, skill, and speed to dodge numerous fouls from opposing defenders. After traveling with the ball for 40 yards, the step-over king somehow made his way into the box and finished past the keeper. From that moment onwards, football would never be the same, as R9 became the game's most feared attacker. Speaking of goals that elevated legends from promising talents to undeniable superstars, Cristiano Ronaldo's knuckleball free kick against Portsmouth broke the laws of physics and catapulted the Portuguese winger onto the world stage. Ronaldo was enjoying a breakthrough 07-08 campaign with 17 Premier League goals already to his name, but none were as spectacular as his second strike against Portsmouth. Old Trafford was already rampant, having already seen CR7 strike 2 minutes earlier when he stepped up to a free kick from 30 yards. The 5-time Ballon d'Or winner took 4 perfectly measured steps backwards and opened his legs, leaving the Man United star in a unique standing position. After inhaling 3 breaths of air, Ronaldo ran up to the ball and struck it with the instep of his boot. The result was devastating. The ball danced and swerved past goalkeeper David James, who was left so baffled about the ball's direction that he didn't even bother diving. Ronaldo's strike was practiced, calculated, and measured, but the next goal on our list is nothing more than pure instinctive genius. Breaking the rules of physics doesn't always require strategic planning. Some players are just born with an indescribable ability to manipulate the ball. As Chelsea's star-studded defenders pressured Barcelona star Ronaldinho into a standing position, it appeared unthinkable that the Brazilian could do anything but play a simple pass to a teammate. The Samba star had no room for a run-up, and generating enough power for a shot appeared impossible. But then he shimmied, swiveled on the ground, and opened up the tiniest bit of space for himself before toe-poking the ball from outside the box into the left-hand corner. It was a crazy strike that came out of nowhere and silenced Stamford Bridge in a tightly contested Champions League tie. No other player has even attempted to replicate Dinho's 0-5 goal, never mind completing it. However, many have attempted to copy Gareth Bale's crazy Champions League winning overhead kick against Liverpool in 2018, only to end up with a sore back and a shattered ego. But the electric Welshman made the impossible goal look like standard procedure, as Los Blancos landed its 13th Champions League trophy. Brazilian left-back Marcelo played an unthreatening cross into the box a yard or two behind Bale's starting position. On 99 occasions out of 100, the ball would have stuttered past the attackers and out of play for a goal kick. But Bale bounced on his feet twice, reacted to the flight of the ball, and produced a crazy overhead kick to put Madrid 2-1 up in the Champions League final. As the Madristas sprinted off in celebration, Liverpool's traveling cupites were in disbelief, unable to wrap their heads around the greatness they'd just been undone by. Madrid are inevitable in European finals. It's as if whenever they're enduring a difficult moment, they're blessed by the footballing gods who momentarily give their attackers supernatural powers to win finals. Madrid's 2002 Champions League savior, Zinedine Zidane, demonstrated pure genius throughout his career, but saved his most astonishing moment for the final against Bayer Leverkusen. Los Blancos were expected to cruise to victory, but then found themselves tied at 1-1 as the final approached halftime. A careless cross from Roberto Carlos looped high, giving the Frenchman a challenge to get it under control. But it turned out that Zizou didn't even need a touch. He shifted his body backwards, opened up his body, and unleashed a perfect strike that flew past Hans-Jörg Butt to win Madrid the Champions League. The technique was so impossible that Zidane must have timed it to the millisecond, or defied the laws of physics, because how he generated so much power from that position is almost unexplainable. But perhaps the most unexplainable goal of all time is Dimitri Payet's insane Premier League free kick against Crystal Palace. We've watched the mouth-watering clip 100 times and still can't work out how he got the ball to move as it did. The Frenchman was enjoying a historic purple patch as he managed to manipulate the ball in crazy ways on almost a weekly basis. But his period of red-hot form was epitomized by the strike against Palace. As Payet stepped up for the free kick, West Ham's Upton Park crowd were expectant. The talent had already bagged free kicks for the Hammers, but nobody could have foreseen a strike of such quality. 7 men were in the wall, and the keeper was standing in the area Payet directed the ball at. But only the Frenchman has the secrets to the technique that somehow beat them. The ball dipped, swerved, and then swerved again as it flew past the keeper, who, despite being positioned correctly, had no chance of saving Payet's stunning shot. But what if we told you there was one strike even more physics-defying than Payet's? Liverpool maestro Thiago Alcantara was one of the greatest technicians the game has ever seen, but rarely unleashed shots from range. His spectacular Champions League goal against Porto in 2021 was so aesthetically pleasing that it's easy to watch on repeat time and time again. A cross into the box had been cleared as the ball slowly bobbled towards the Spanish midfielder. Some might say the ball fell nicely for him, but the work of art remains unexplainable. Thiago struck over the ball, making it somehow glide over the grass. The strike skimmed several blades of grass before rising again as if the ball had a mind of its own, or a hidden wind turbine was placed under the pitch. We think it's the most physics-defying goal in football history. But did we miss any unthinkable strike by one of your favorite stars? Make sure to let us know in the comments down below.